There are so many videos that are going viral in 2025 right now about America's decline, the numerous problems that America has, that the West has, and they're getting a lot of hits right now, and I think it's because a lot of people agree with them and they are making a legitimate point. However, I just wanted to make a video today about 10 things that I miss about the USA, because over the past 6 weeks, I've been in New York City, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Macau, Vietnam, Bangkok, which is considered by many people the most enjoyable place on earth, New York City, which is by many people's opinion considered the most important place on earth. I have to explain to you guys something. Just because the temperature is rising or things are getting worse, it doesn't mean your micro situation has to be getting worse. For example, when the weather's hot outside, I was just in Macau, it was hot outside, the hotel had the AC blasting super cold. I actually caught a cold. I caught a cold when Macau was hot. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Your micro situation can cut against the macro narrative. And that's what I wanted to encourage and talk to you guys about today. Here are 10 things that are dope about the US, how to take advantage of them, but why most people don't. Point number 1, the convenience is on steroids, specifically when it comes to the convenience of consumerism. Yes, I am talking about Amazon. Now, people may not like that Jeff Bezos is about to run the world and run space, but he certainly runs consumerist economies in the West. And where else can you buy a $3,000 camera and then return it to Whole Foods without even packing it up? Like, at least that's in my field. You know, we use a lot of camera equipment as digital media content creators and whatnot. It's like, I don't think there's anywhere else on earth. Yeah, in China, you might be able to get that same camera delivered faster due to their Waimai, like their Sherpa delivery service may even be quicker. But Amazon's is like the convenience, the warranties, honoring the warranties, honoring the returns is super unmatched. So the chaos sort of creates opportunity. Here's what I'm saying is the consumerism in America is ridiculous. And some people count that against American capitalism, but I'm saying you can use it to your advantage. Like, for example, if you wanted to start like a wedding videography business, you could rent the cameras on Amazon essentially for 90 days and then use them to make the money and then use the money to either pay off the cameras or, you know, your credit card bill's not gonna be even due till way later depending on what promotions you got when you sign up for the credit card. So it's like, that's not really possible in any other country. But the truth is, it's mostly like immigrants or super wily or super hungry people that take advantage of the thing that I just said. Like, not everybody takes advantage of this ridiculous consumerism, but you could use it to just like, you know, test, return, iterate, implement, and then just figure it out to no cost to yourself. Most people don't do this because they just consume. They might not even be using the returns. I'm sure, I mean, obviously if you have a Costco membership, I'm sure most people have returned something. But basically what I'm saying is the American system was built for creators, attackers, and builders, and the consumeristic systems reflect that. Point number 2, the forward progression culture. Everybody in the US is generally plotting something because it attracts the top level, most ambitious, money-earning immigrants from around the world typically come to America. Not all of them, but many of them, right? Disproportionately more than any other country because the salaries are so high, the payouts are so high, the earning cap ceiling is so high. So you gotta take advantage because you're in a country in America where people won't laugh at you for quitting your job, throwing everything into a startup business or anything like that. And, you know, it's just one of the only places, like in England, they would discourage you. In China, you can't even get a loan. I mean, the credit cards barely even exist. If you don't have the money in your account on a debit card level, you know what I mean? Like to actually have the cash on hand, the liquidity on your person or in your account, you can't even do it. In America, you can buy a ton of stuff on credit, and sometimes they won't even make you pay interest till like a year out. I guess what I'm saying is you could just show up, DM people, connect with other attackers from around the world. And I'm not saying that everybody moves to America for just a chill life. Like I think a lot of, you know, in the past decades, like we said, people did, but nowadays, you know, you might not, there's a lot of other places that are chill around the world. What I'm trying to say is your opportunity cost for being in America is rising because other places around the world are getting better. They learn from America. They've got multinational brands too. You know, your class pass is gonna fire up in Bali, your class pass is gonna fire up in Bangkok or a number of other countries around the world the second you touch down based off GPS location and VPN. So, IP address. So it's like you just use America, utilize the fact that everybody comes here to attack and create, to put yourself around those people and around those gadgets. So that's point number one and number two. Point number three, scale and infrastructure. I just think LA Fitness in America, literally, if you just find one that's not like, you know, any just average LA Fitness, not even a really great, you know, they got the platinum ones or whatever, but I'm saying is like better than a lot of gyms overseas. Like in terms of having an indoor basketball court, and this is specifically just for basketball, right? Because basketball is very American culture. Like the LA Fitness, which is $40 a month, unlimited, has a better basketball facility than a lot of countries around the world's pro training facility. Their pros oftentimes do not even train in amenities at the same scale as a LA Fitness in America. And those LA Fitnesses are in anywhere Podunk, anywhere Suburbsville, USA, right? You can FedEx anything to anywhere overnight. I mean, dude, that's why all the 80K festivals, gigantic festivals are typically come from America. And it's just they have the security personnel, they just have the system set up. So just look, dude, even look at like public libraries. I remember my dad is a huge academic, he's a true scholar. When he got to America, even just like Fairwood, Washington, he loved that public library. He was like, bro, basically saying this was like a top tier library in Hong Kong. And it was literally just in a middle class suburb. So it goes to show you that like when you come from a country that doesn't have the same tier of like expensive public infrastructure that America has, then you really would appreciate it more. But it kind of goes to my previous point. Sometimes, why do immigrants seem like they're the only ones taking advantage of America? But it's because they know. They know what other countries have to offer and not offer, and that gives them more context to process the reference points and appreciate things or take advantage of things. Point number four, the diversity. Listen, a lot of other countries are not that diverse compared to America. New world countries, obviously America, Australia, Canada, you know what I mean? These are super immigrant-driven places because even, quote-unquote, the white people are not native to it. You know what I mean? They may have gotten here a few hundred years earlier. And of course, yes, a lot of Anglo-spheric civilization is based off Anglo-Saxon things, but at the end of the day, the diversity is really unmatched, man. I mean, what else is gonna produce sushi-ritos and country rap like shabuzi and Korean barbecue tacos? I mean, God, we could just think about like all the different fusion things that are created every moment in the US. A lot of other countries around the world, and I've been to a lot of places in the past 6 weeks, do not have that culture. Like the people are just so rooted in ancientness, you know, they just don't want to innovate. Like, dude, even for example, Europe, everybody loves Italian pasta. If you go around Italy, people are hyper provincial about not only Italian traditional pasta, but their own specific province's pasta. They don't even they don't even mess with other provinces' pasta, let alone like other cultures like fusing it with their own. You got to take advantage of that because you have the ability to cross-pollinate ideas. You can mix any two worlds. It's like smala sauce. Like I said, shameless plug on Amazon.com right now. It's part Calabrian chili oil, part Sichuan chili oil. We use some of the Calabrian red chilies. We use some of the huajiao from Sichuan. In other countries, there would be like I could never start that in Italy or Sichuan. They wouldn't be feeling it right because they're traditional. They're not as diverse. They're not as experimental. Moving on to number 5, America is a culture factory. You know, regardless of how you feel about them and how they're headed on a trajectory right now, Hollywood, hip hop, NBA, NFL, TikTok, the Super Bowl, the world's taste buds are still American flavored. I had Thai people talking to me about Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance at the Super Bowl. They don't even know how like fourth downs or any touchdowns work, you know? But it just goes to show you how viral America is. And even when people hate America, they still end up copying it. Dude, like all the best clubs in my opinion, the best club in Bangkok is Tapioca. One of the best clubs in Saigon is probably Bodega. These are super based off, like, to be honest, New York City and just America in general. So listen, if you are a US content creator or a US person in general, that means the world is sort of like tuned into the culture that you grew up in. Now you can utilize that, you know, for example, most creators that go super viral speak American English. I don't know if there's that many Aussie or British English speaking. I'm not saying there's not people that aren't big, but they're just not nearly as big as the American creators, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, Kai Cenat, et cetera, because America's sort of like the culture factory for the world. So listen, I guess what I'm saying is the reason why people don't take advantage of it is because they like scrolling instead of posting themselves. But if they posted themselves, they know the total addressable market for their cultural cues and touch points and memes is pretty big. Point number 6, knowledge density. This is a more academic point. We're talking about Harvard, MIT, Stanford, so many research labs. Yes, sometimes they outsource it, but you know what I mean? We're talking about a lot of the world's biggest companies are in America or China. But if you made me say more of the innovation, I'm not gonna lie, it might shift in the next couple decades or the next half century, but as of still right now, all the innovation mostly comes out of America. And that's because, you know, you just have this brain drain to put, you know, if you use the word brain drain in a negative way, brain drain on other countries, or you just have this huge influx or infusion of super smart people that come to America and they infuse into places like Stanford, do all these startups, Harvard, do this and that, you know. So you just have this incredible knowledge density per cubic mile. And I guess what I'm saying is you can take advantage of it because this is a unique property of America. But like I said, many people don't because maybe that's outside of their comfort zone or that's just not their strategy in playing the game, but it could be and it should be. Moving on, number 7, rights and expression. Of course, yes, it's always double-sided, but in America, you can protest, sue, you can roast your president, you can make a meme about it later, you can just pop up anywhere and talk about anything, you know? So it's not normal globally to have that, to take advantage of it. I guess you could speak up, publish, critique things. That's your individual leverage as a citizen. But, you know, most freedom feels invisible until you lose it. Or when you come from a place that doesn't have those freedoms, then you appreciate it more, right? Moving on, number 8, this is more of a financial point. We're talking about credit and capital. Like America rewards people who bet on themselves. We're talking about VCs, credit cards, angel investors, SBA loans. It is an economy in America that is built on risk tolerance. Like I said, in a lot of other countries, if you don't have the money, you don't come from a family that can post up some assets or some sort of crazy name, you can't do it. But in America, bankruptcy is not shame, it's just viewed as a restart button. And, you know, some people could say, oh, that's because there's too much money floating around and it's because US dollar is the world's reserve currency. Yeah, there's some of that truth to that, but as an American citizen, you get to take advantage of that arbitrage and of that advantage of the US dollar being the world's global reserve currency, at least for a while, right? So you should test ideas with small money, man. Iterate fast. The system forgives momentum. And, you know, I get it. You know, I saw it a lot growing up in the Chinese community, specifically like sometimes Cantonese people. Depending, you know, some Hong Kong guys were different, but like for the most part, Cantonese people are like super risk adverse. And I feel like it wasn't a bad plan, but they just sought out safety when they came to America. And that's why Chinatowns did have a high floor, but they kind of had a low ceiling in terms of success. So, like I said, you got to really like take bold risks in America to take advantage of the way the system was built. But I get it. You might be from a culture that coaches against that, thinks it's bad, et cetera, et cetera. Moving on, point number 9, global language. I mean, this goes beyond just global touch points and memes and stuff like that. Everybody using American slang for the most part, but it's like just American accented English runs everything. So just, yeah, I mean, like I said, just take that. If you look at like even British school here in Bangkok, the kids speak with an American accent. Yeah, I'm sure with their mom or their like not Nana or like grandma or whatever, they may speak with a British accent, but they're just like, I don't know, I'm just adapting to this like internet global thing that is like American accent to English. And point number 10, resilience and reinvention, guys. America is built on comebacks. Detroit came back or is coming back right now. So many people came back. We look at Gordon Gekko. We look at Jordan Belfort. I mean, how many sports stars? Chris Brown came back from the whole Rihanna thing. Like, dude, everybody can come back in America. Nothing. It's like, for example, like Edison kind of got canceled in Hong Kong. He's still not back in Hong Kong. Like he's around, the Asia Pacific region, but like you know, once you're done in Asia. Like once you violate, you will have that mark on you forever. That scarlet letter is on you forever. In America, if you just make stuff people like, you totally can come back from it. Dude, Steve Jobs got fired by the board of Apple, and then Apple started dipping, they brought him back, and then he took it to new heights. America loves this like reinvention, redemption arc. Yeah, I'll tell you this, America, in a way, loves the second arc, the redemption arc, more than they even like the first hard work, focused arc. They like both arcs, but they like the second one even more is what I'm trying to say. I guess in other countries you have to hide your L's. In America, the L's are your leverage, and you wear them as a badge of honor of like all the L's you came back from. That's very different. In closing, I wanted to say this, guys. It's true that the rest of the world is getting better. And in some ways, at least on a day-to-day lifestyle level, America is getting worse. Slightly. It depends though. Like I said, you could still catch a cold when it's really hot outside, and you could still ask somebody to turn on the heat, turn off the heat when it's snowing outside, because the internal heater in your house is just going off too hot. Like I said, your micro situation can be disconnected from the macro situation, especially in 2025. Yeah, I get it. If you live outside in a tent, then you're very subject to whatever the macro winds are or the overall macro climate is of the moment, the umbrella tone. But what I'm saying is, America used to be this place where it was great to be super successful in and go hard as an entrepreneur and figure things out. But it was also really great to just cruise and just chill in. Canada was even better. But I think that cruise mode, chillax mode, and still live a better life than like 88% of the world is starting to go away. If you stay in chillax mode and you don't take advantage of any of the 10 things that I just said that makes America so unique and high-powered, then yeah, I think things are gonna be increasingly worse. But for the people who do take advantage of these things, regardless of what the sands of time say about is America the Roman Empire 2.0, you will still be good for you and your family. But only if you sort of understand the unique environment that you're in and take advantage of it. Because like I said, the day-to-day life overseas is getting better. They learned from America, they got all the cool venues, and you know what I mean? Like you could buy any product you want over here. Like I said, I think that that's just my final word on the 10 things that make America unique, what you can take advantage of. The US does have problems, you know what I mean? Polarization, politics, prices, but it is still the biggest sandbox ultimately for human potential. So the dream's not dead. The dream just costs a little bit more right now, but if you don't do the things, if you don't lock in and take advantage of the dream may increasingly turn into a nightmare. Anyway, guys, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like I said, I've been everywhere over the past 6 weeks. I was in New York, Shanghai, Bangkok, Macau, Hong Kong, Saigon. Your opportunity cost is becoming greater because the rest of the world is getting doper. So you either gotta travel more to take advantage of what's dope overseas, or lock in and take advantage of all the dope things that America has that other places don't have and probably won't have due to cultural or economic reasons. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.